You're recording.
Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. This is the 2026 ICSD budget hearing. It is required, and the process for this evening is a short information, sort of a very quick recap and summary. The real purpose of the hearing is to hear from the community and public comment that we may have. I will let folks know, typically, board members do not provide answers or responses during the hearing, but that does not prevent us from following up afterwards to any said questions or commentary that we receive. But with that being said, we'll start our hearing and we'll begin with Dr. Lisi. Thank you for joining us, and I'll ask you to start us off.
Will do. Thank you, Dr. Braywell. So we'll just show the presentation here on the board here. This is just a general overview of the 2026-27 proposed budget and the associated propositions. I just want to remind folks that the newsletter went out for the budget, and some have probably already received that. So, and that will provide further clarification regarding the propositions and the overall budget itself. So I'll start. The total budget proposed is $177,638,041. That's a levy increase of 3.4%. That is below the state cap, which was calculated at 4.18%, and that was adopted on April 14th, 2026. The annual budget vote and school board election will be held on May 19th, and the polls open from 12 noon and close at 9 p.m. There are 4 propositions. Proposition 1, and typically these are read just to give folks some idea of how this usually takes place. We do read the propositions word for word. It's part of what we're obligated to do. So proposition number 1, proposed 2026-27 budget. Shall the Board of Education of the Ithaca City School District, City of Ithaca, Tompkins County, New York, be authorized to expend $177,638,041 to meet the district's estimated expenditures during the 2026-27 school year, and to levy the necessary tax therefore. Proposition 2, appropriation and expenditure of capital reserve funds. Shall the Board of Education of the Ithaca City School District, known as the district, be authorized to appropriate funds from the district's 2022 capital reserve fund in the maximum amount of $2,346,308, and to expend these combined funds for the following purposes. 1, purchase of up to 7 70-passenger ultra-low emission propane buses for long-range travel, and 2, purchase up to 1 30-passenger ultra-low emission propane bus for long-range travel. 3, purchase of up to 2 wheelchair-equipped 66-passenger ultra-low emission propane buses for long-range travel. 4, interior/exterior renovations at Cayuga Heights Elementary School to include structural and door repairs. Proposition 3, establishment of a new capital reserve fund. Shall the Board of Education of the Ithaca City School District, the district, be authorized to establish a reserve fund in accordance with Section 3651 of the New York Education Law, to be known as the 2026 Capital Reserve Fund, for a probable term of 5 years, commencing on July 1, 2026, and ending on June 30th, 2031, for the purpose of financing in whole or in part the purchase of school buses and other vehicles, and or the cost of authorized alterations, constructions, and or reconstruction of district facilities, buildings, and or additions, including related site work, health and safety improvements, and handicap accessibility improvements, and to fund the 2026 Capital Reserve Fund in the maximum amount of $10 million, excluding interest earnings in current or future years through various sources, including but not limited to state reimbursement, cost savings measures resulted in unexpended funds or unappropriated fund balance, and other legally available funds of the district. Proposition 4, 2026 capital project. Shall the bond resolution adopted by the Board of Education on March 10th, 2026, authorizing the construction of improvements to and reconstruction of various school district buildings and facilities, including site improvements, transportation infrastructure upgrades, and original furnishings, equipment, machinery, apparatus, and I got caught on that one. Appurtenances and incidental improvements and expenses in connection therewith at a maximum estimated cost of $43,900,000, and the issuance of $43,900,000 bonds of said school district to pay the cost thereof to mature over a period not exceeding 30 years, providing that such bond shall be payable from amounts to be levied in annual installments on taxable real property of said school district, pledging the district's faith and credit for the payment of such bonds, delegating powers to the chief fiscal officer with respect to the issuance and sale of bond anticipation notes and such bonds containing an estoppel clause and providing for the publication of an estoppel notice to be approved. Propositions 1, 2, and 3 require a simple majority. In this case, Proposition 4 is the same because we are under the cap. And that's it for the summary.
Thank you. And so just to offer another brief summary, I appreciate you reading into the record, which we're supposed to do. Proposition 1 is the budget for next academic year. Proposition 2 is the one that we normally refer to as the purchase of buses and other transportation equipment, including any smaller capital projects that may happen. Proposition 3 is the establishment of a fund to do the similar thing in future years. And Proposition 4 is a relatively new capital project, which has been discussed throughout the past year. For any community member, I highly recommend, hopefully, if you have internet access, to go to the ICSD budget page. You will find a tool calculator, you will find a budget book, you will find the mailer, you will find minutes for meetings for both the finance committee as well as full board meetings that provide additional information as well. And again, the purpose of this hearing here is established by New York State law, is to be able to hear from delegates of the public, and as such, we'll move in that direction. At this point in time, the first name that we have is Joe Lomsky. Joe, good to see you. If you would be willing to come up, it just would help with the microphones and be able to pick up whatever you'd like to say.
Sure.
We typically allow for 3 minutes for comments, and we'll proceed.
It takes less than that. I just have to come down and bother you guys a little bit.
I appreciate it.
It just wouldn't be the same if I wasn't here, you know. The main thing that bothers me are the number things. Growing the budget with money that we were overtaxed in the first place. And then so even though it's only $162 on a median home, the 3.4%, right? Next year we start at a higher point than that. I mean, that's the reality of it. So that sneakiness of using rainy day money to just grow the budget is definitely a problem. I've always had a problem with that. The 3.4, I wouldn't be here probably. But so the fund balance is tax money. It's money that we were overtaxed, or it's I mean, that's what it is, right? It's stuff you had left over. I mean, that's what fund balance means, right?
I would classify it differently, but again, I'll respond to you via email.
Okay.
I wouldn't use the word overtax. It's an intentional savings that helps.
Because I saw that you do want to establish a reserve fund, and that's fine. I get that.
Sure.
I just don't get fund balances. Just and it is a sneaky way to grow the budget. A lot of people don't understand it. I don't understand it, but I do understand that it's sneaky. And then of course, 35,000 per kid's a lot of money, and I just think you could have done better than 5%. But that's all I needed to say.
Appreciate it.
Geneva did 1%. I have a friend who lives up there. We were just talking about it. I'm going to leave it there because it sounds good when I say that.
At this point in time, I don't know if anybody else signed up. Is anyone online?
That's all. Speaking.
Brad Winter, yes, please.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you all for your service. I've sat in your seats previously, so I'm familiar with it. So I appreciate your serving. I just wanted to say I was disappointed that you were unable to come to a consensus on the budget. It sends a very confusing message to the voters. That was unfortunate. And for those who said they didn't have enough information, I'll only ask the question of how many additional finance committees did you request? Or committees of the whole did you request, and how many of those did you attend in order to get more information? It's upon you to go get that information. You have to do it in public. I hope coming into the next year, you'll start September, ask for additional meetings, and ask those questions then so you can get your answers well in advance of May. and be able to send a consistent message to the voters next year. That's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Anybody else?
Question or two, is that all right?
Please.
Yeah.
Can you tell us your name?
Amanda Williams. I have only lived in Ithaca for 5 years. I have a grandson at Ben Sherman and have nothing but praise for the programming that he's received. I'm concerned that there are 23 children in his kindergarten class. I'm a retired teacher from Alabama, and in a kindergarten where I taught, there were 15 children. So class size is concerning to me. Another thing, in Alabama, schools were funded by the state. Every child got per capita the same amount wherever the school system was. If the system wanted to provide better services, the only option open was to vote sales tax, citywide sales tax. And so coming here to Ithaca and finding out that schools are supported by property taxes was a little alarming. I don't know if Ithaca has any provision where sales tax could be considered. I have no idea. Is that anything that the school board would be open to investigating?
I missed the question.
The question is, would it be possible for Ithaca to use a self-imposed sales tax for schools rather than always raising property taxes? That was a question. And comparables. Comparable sized school systems throughout the state. Is our budget comparable to theirs? Is it higher? Is it lower? I don't know. Where can I find that information? It is? Is that what you're saying? It is comparable, or?
I'm saying we can tell you where to find that information.
Oh, good, please.
The best place to find it would be the New York State report cards. If you type in NYSED report cards, it will come up and you can find a couple of school districts that would be similar. We are uniquely sized, but if we get your information, I'll be happy to email you a couple of different resources or ask my colleagues to do so as well.
That would be great. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And we do have someone online.
Give me just 1 second.
Yep. While we're waiting, are we there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Sasha, can you get audio for?
Yeah.
Hello?
Oh. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Hi, my name's Alexis Abramo. I am the parent of a 9th grader at IHS and a 7th grader at LACS, and I'm also an ICSD employee. I work as the LACS nurse right now. And I'm calling with a specific budget line concern that has come up for the nursing staff. And it seems that the ICSD has dropped the TST Health and Wellness COSER for 26 and 27. And I'm not sure if anybody else is aware of the services provided by the COSER. What we were told is that they're going to offer we're going to get a different they're going to hire a different medical director, but the COSER actually provides a lot of things that's beyond the regular medical director. We have access to a 24/7 call line for immediate health and safety questions. 2 clinicians who have extensive experience with school health. They have deep ties in our community and a long-standing connection to the other health professionals who serve our students. They do in-school physicals that go well beyond the perfunctory school physicals that are usually offered for students to just get into sports. They do case management for students and referrals for students who have no medical home. They give us timely, relevant professional development specific to the work of school health professionals. They offer regular organized opportunities to connect with the school health staff in surrounding districts. They give us access to a consultant school nurse, which is incredibly important right now since we are currently working without a head nurse or any clinical supervisor. And I think most importantly, there are trusted resources that the school nurses who need to make split-second decisions about student well-being know they can connect to immediately and have faith in the directions that they get. I think that this decision was made without consulting anyone in the school health team. I think that the cost was not considered when you consider that having nurses who feel safe and supported in their work leave means that the cost of having a travel nurse to fill those positions is going to be 4 to 5 times as much money. And we also lose access to all of those other things. So I'm asking, will you commit to having the school health team members participate in the new medical director decision and the resources that we need to prioritize health and safety for all of the kids in our school district? Meaning we need clinical supervision, we need a trusted medical director, and we need professional development that applies to us. Can you commit to having us participate in making those decisions and providing us the resources we need to care for our students?
Thank you, Alexis. Those are all the folks who have signed up to speak. I can provide a couple of quick answers while we're here, just because though that's not what we normally do. Folks can correct me if I'm wrong. A sales tax is not possible in New York State. There is something that's called a utility tax, which we've explored before, which is utility on cell phones, lights and gas, etc. But the board at this point in time has decided against that. Doesn't mean a new board would mean something different. Class size is something that we're aware of. We had a conversation 2 years ago, 2 financial cycles ago, talking about class size. And so that's something that's a constant conversation amongst educators, amongst the school board, not the school board, the school administration. So just know that that's a topic of conversation repeated. This is me again speaking on the line. Normally, so we don't refer this. Joe, respectfully, I would challenge the word sneaky. I think that makes it look like it's duplicitous or there's something that is unfair about it, with the exception of being completely transparent and talked about every single year about having a savings account. Should some major thing take place, like,
Yeah,
I don't know, a major flood at
I agree with
Heights,
that.
right? So, but that's the idea behind fund balances.
Yeah.
And we can have another conversation off.
But to grow the budget with it is not, it's not appropriate use of it.
Well, it depends on how one looks, because oftentimes that additional funds also helps generate revenue for the school district as well. Again, I look forward to having another cup of coffee and we'll talk more.
It's not necessary.
So,
I just want to voice my opinion.
Absolutely.
And
I apologize. I apologize.
And I do agree with 24 kids in a kindergarten is insanity.
Yep.
But 18 in a high school class
your
is
time
also insanity the other way.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
yeah.
Fantastic. For the other questions, thank you, Alexis. Someone will probably respond via email. Thank you, Mr. Granger, for coming to speak to us as well. And we'll proceed from there. I'll give it another minute or so, unless there's another comment by another board member.
I would just say, when we spoke at the Danby Fire Station, I said I thought we could come in with a tax cap, and I just would have opened it.
I didn't realize that,
This is not a, this is.
no, well, I know that, but
I know, but you all can have this conversation. My apologies after the meeting, right? My apologies.
But again, you're not under the tax cap because you raise the budget 5%, that's twice what the inflation rate is. That's twice what wages go up around here. That is a degradation amount that you're raising it because people don't make that much more every year. So that's a frog in the pot number. That's another frog in the pot number.
I'm looking forward to learning more about the phrase frog in a pot.
Well, I know you well.
And I'm not saying that to diminish the idea. I'm saying
I think everybody, a lot of people know what that means. They can fill you in on it.
Fantastic. So if there are no other comments, then we will bring the 2026 public hearing to a close. Thank you all very much for sharing and for engaging with us. Look forward to vote next week.